Okay, let's get started. So today I'm going to show you how to program a code to change the properties of the part. Because previously in our obby game, we created the part, they are fixed, or in the swim bridge, they are swim back and forth. But when you play some obby game created by other people, you noticed that sometimes you jump to one pad and the pad start to disappear and you have to quickly jump to another pad before the first pad disappeared. So those can be achieved by programming. But first, let's see how we can change the properties um, of the part by programming. So start from the simple step. Okay, so first, let's create a part. Okay, select. Okay, I want to make it bigger, so easier for me to um, move the part. Okay. And also, I want to mention that you should have this Explorer window open, Properties window opened, and also the Output windows opened. And if you don't see them, you can always go to the View, okay, here, and check or highlight this Explorer because right now my Explorer window and the Properties window are open, so you can see this two options are kind of activated. If you click it again, as you can see that Properties window disappeared. I click this Explorer window. Now you can see that all the windows here are gone, and output is the top one, top row, the second one. If I click that, now as you can see that all three windows are closed by me. So if you don't see any of them, you can just go to the view and click those you want them switch on and off. So let's click this, open it, open properties window, and open the output window. Now as you can see this. Okay. Sometimes if they are kind of like a floating, that's because you didn't dock them. As you can see that now my output window is floating on my game window. So how I can dock to the bottom part of the window. So press the left click, and then when you drag that one, you will see this pop up these small things. So if I move my mouse cursor to the bottom, as you can see that there is a box here showing that that's where you're going to dock the output window. So you can just move the mouse cursor to here and let it go, and then the output will dock to the bottom part of the game window. Okay, so that's how you dock the output window and how you open the window. Okay, so output means anything happened in the game window. Sometimes we want to know what's going on with our codings, and then we have the output. We want to show some calculation results, some information we're checking. So that's why we have this output window. Okay. So don't worry about it. We'll have many more examples to show you how to use this output window to get the information we want. So anyway, okay, so after you create the part, you will see this part is listed here, right? So in your Explorer, okay? So if you move the mouse cursor to the part, you will see this plus sign here, right? It's a little small, but you should be able to find it, okay? And if you click the plus sign, will pop up a window, okay? And you can find the script. Normally, it's on the top on the top of the list. So click script. Now you can see that you add a script under the part. So Once you add something under another thing, in this case, I add a script under the part. So that means the script is the child of this part. Okay, so and the part is the parent of this script. Okay, so this is an important relationship because later we're going to using this relationship to find the part to change the property of the part. Okay, so basically you understand that part and the script are parent child relationship. Okay, so once I created the script, immediately open this script, and by default, Roblox Studio give you the first line of the code called print hello world. Okay, so before we do anything, you can start to running the game. So by clicking the play, okay. So once you start to play, the script will be executed, and the print means print whatever this sentence to the output window. Okay, so that's what I mentioned before, that the output window typically will be used to check what's going on in your code. Okay, because in this code, the first line we said print. You understand that the print mean, right? So you used a, or you saw the printer. Uh, if you have a printer at home, right, or at school, you saw the printer, you know the meaning of the print means, right? Print means to show, to display the sentence in the output window. Okay, so let's try it. So click the play. Okay, now you see this hello world print out in my output window, right? So it says server script 1. Don't worry about this. We'll talk about this in the future, but at least you saw this hello world is showing in the output because we have a command here and ask the script to say print this hello world to the output. Okay, and of course you can change anything in this parentheses. For example, I want to add something, say hello world. My name is Pandora Academy. Okay, and if you click play again, now the whole sentence will be printed and showing in the output window, as you can see here. So it says, hello world, my name is Pandora Academy. Okay, so basically anything you can change in here will be printed out. Okay, so now let's stop the game. Okay, keep that in mind. When you start to editing the script, you have to stop the game. Otherwise, anything you changed in the script will not be probably will not be saved, and it will cause some error sometimes. So make sure you, when you editing anything, stop the game. Okay, in the editing mode. Okay. Another thing I want to mention: sometimes you accidentally close the script. Now you couldn't find the script. Okay, so don't worry. You can always go to the Explorer. Okay, find the script here, and double click, and it will open the script. Your script will look different from me because I changed my color and I changed my font size. So I will make it a little bit bigger for the students to see my coding, but you don't have to change the color or the font size. Okay, so just so you know, yours will be a little bit different from mine. Okay, so the first I want to mention is that because we want to change the property of the part. Okay, now let's go to the base plate game window. Okay, so if you click the part, and you will see the properties of the part. Okay, so I'll make it bigger here. Uh, you can see that there's appearance, the brick color. Okay, if you click by default, the Roblox Studio give the color called a medium stone gray for any part you created. Okay, so if you click this little box here, and you will open a color. As you can see that when I move my mouse cursor to this little parts and showing different colors. My in my game window here is also start to changing the color of the part, right? So for example, if I move to this called a lime green, okay, if I click that, as you can see that now my brick color is changed to lime green, and also you can see from the game window here the part change to lime green. Okay, so if I want to change it to red, this is called a really red. Okay, I change it, and then you can see that the brick color changed to really red, and the color of the part in the game window also changed. Okay, so this is how you manually change the color of the part. Okay, but during the game running, sometimes we want to change the color of the part. Then of course we cannot change it because when the game is running, the property is locked already. Okay, so this is the first thing I want to mention, how we can manually change the color. Okay, another thing I want to mention is looking at this transparency. Okay, so now the transparency, if you move your mouse cursor, hover the transparency keyword, the Roblox Studio will show a tape, kind of like a short information about what's the meaning of transparency here. So as you can see that it says that's how visible an object is. A value of 1 makes the object invisible, while a value of 0 makes the object opaque, right? So because right now it's 0, that means it's opaque. You cannot see through it, right? So if you move closer, you can see that it's a totally solid piece. You cannot see through it. Okay, and if you click this area, okay, now as you can see that a bar appeared. This bar you can drag to change the value of transparency from 0 all the way to 1. When I drag to the 1, as you can see that now this part it's kind of like disappeared. Actually, it's not disappeared. It's just the transparency. It's so transparent, I cannot see the part anymore. Basically, it looks like there's nothing here, right? Because I can see through it. Okay. Now I click this number again. I drag the bar a little bit back to point, maybe 0.5. Okay, so that means it's half transparent. Okay, now as you can see that you can see partially through, so that you can see the floor grid, right? Okay, now I click the part. Now you can see it again. So and also you may notice when I drag the transparency bar to 1, okay, no matter what color it is, it's gone, right? Because now, as you can see that, unless I move my mouse cursor to this area, you see, oh, okay, there is a part here. But when I move my mouse cursor out of the boundary, now you don't see the part, right? You don't see any color because it's totally transparent. The color doesn't mean anything at all, okay? Because it's totally transparent, okay? Now if you click the part and then you change the back, okay, now you can start to see the color, right? So that's the transparency and the break color. Okay. Okay, so I moved back to the original one. So by default, this is a medium stone gray. Okay, and the transparency is 0. So okay. Now how we can change it? we can change it by coding. So first, you can delete this print line. We don't need it anymore. So by holding the mouse cursor left and then drag the mouse cursor to the top, and you can delete and press the delete button on the keyboard. Okay. So first we need to find the part because now we are in this script. And as I mentioned, the relationship between the part and the script is parent-kid relationship. Okay. So right now I'm in the script. So I need to define the part. I need to find the part. As you can see that the part is the parent of the script. Okay. So first let's define it. So before I define anything, I need to use a keyword called a local. The local means anything I said I write in this script is only limited to this script. Okay, nothing else. This one you can think about this way. So each script is a classroom. Okay, it's a classroom. So I'm going to create a student, um, or you can think about it a student's name. For different classroom, you may have multiple students called Zach, called Michael, called Claire, right? So something like that, because we only want to use the student's name in this classroom. So that's why we are limiting it. The student's name give a keyword called local means when I call somebody, I'm calling from this classroom. So this script. Okay, that's how you can imagine that the meaning of this keyword called a local. Okay. Okay. So first, I want to give the part a name. So I want to call it. You can just name it a part. Okay. The part is what? The part is a script parent, right? So the parent of the script. So let's say script. Okay. So after type two letter SC, as you can see, Roblox Studio already figure out, oh, you are looking for script. So the first option becomes the script. So in this case, you can just press the tab key. You should be able to find the tab key on the keyboard near the top left. Okay, so when you press tab key on the keyboard, the Roblox Studio will finish the word for you. So now I only tapped two letter SC. Okay, and as you can see, the script is highlighted with this blue color. That means Roblox Studio think you are going to finish, you are going to type this word. Okay, so that's why it's highlighted. And I press tab. As you can see that the Roblox Studio automatically finished the word for me. Okay, so I strongly recommend all the students typing in this way. Finish type few letters and then find the word you want. Typically, the Roblox Studio is good at guess which keyword you want to use, and then you press tab to finish the whole word. Okay, because try to not typing the word yourself, because when you typing, you could type wrong, and the keyword they are case sensitive. That means the small letter or the capital letter matters. Okay, so try to using the tab to finish the word instead of you typing the whole word script. Okay, so after finish that, and give dot. Okay, and as you can see that I press dot on my keyboard, and Roblox Studio is so smart and figure out, oh, okay, are you want to finish the next word called parent? As you can see, that parent is named as a first option. So and then I can press tab again. Now the parent is finished, is filled in the script window. So Roblox Studio is very smart. Okay, so you just need to give them a hint, and then it start to guess what you want to type. So in this way, you can avoid any typos, wrong typings, and also speed up the typing speed. Okay, so try not to type the word yourself. For example, if you press the dot and you're trying to type parent, as you can see, something wrong with my typing because the P is the capital letter. So if you type this, later there's a error will happen. So I need to make sure and press tab again. Okay, so that's how you quickly type the code. Okay, so now I find the part, this part, okay, as a reference. So in this script, I call it a part, right? So that's the specific one, this one, okay, not some other part, okay, because I give you information, I told the script, this part is this script's parent, okay? Now I press enter and I come to the next line. Okay, what I want to do is that I want to change the part's property. So I'm going to, because I already defined the part, now I can change the property of the part. Okay, so I type part, P-A-R-T. Okay, now as you can see that Roblox Studio think I'm looking for this part, yes. And I press Tab key, okay, and finish. So any properties is you can use a dot to find it. For example, if I press dot and it starts to showing a few options to see which one you want, okay, and you can keep typing a few letters because I want to change the break color. You can use mouse cursor to select the break color, okay, so press the tab key. Now you can finish the word. Or, for example, after you press dot, you can keep typing. I want to see break color, so I'm typing B. Okay, once I type B, the break color become the first option in the list. So because Roblox Studio can change the options for you uh, by using the information you typed, because you typed B, so it will start to guessing, oh, okay, the keyword start with B, so the first option is break color. Okay, now since the break color is selected, I can press tab, okay, and showing that, okay, I agree that I want to change the break color. Okay, so the break color I want to change it to what? So equal to, since I'm changing the break color, so I want to change the break color. So I type B again. Now the break color appeared as the first option. Then I press tab. Okay, now break color. So break color also has its own properties. As you remember that I showed that they have different colors, right? So for example, now I want to change the break color to red. Okay, now I click the red and the red is filled with these parentheses. Okay, so that's how we change the break color by coding. Okay, so there's a parenthesis, but it's empty. We don't need to fill up anything here. Now let's take a look at the base plate. So we finished the coding here and changed the part break color. Okay, so let's take a look. Keep that in mind. Only the code will be running after the game start. Okay, so let's go here. And if I click play, you should be able to find this part color changed to red. Once I start play, now you can see that in the game mode, this part changed the color to red because this is what we did in the coding. And when you start the game, the script starts running and change the color to red. Okay, and if you exit the game, the parts will go back to the original color because it by default the color is meteor stone gray, and the color is only going to change during the gameplay. Okay, so we can change another thing. For example, as I showed, we changed the transparency, right? So part, P-A-R-T, and show the first option, and I press Tab key on the keyboard and the dot. Okay, now we want to change the transparency. So transparency starts with T. Now as you can see that I press T on my keyboard, and the first option showing the transparency. As I mentioned, Roblox Studio is very smart. It's guessing what you are trying to type. The first is transparency already, okay? And then I press Tab key on the keyboard. Now the whole word is finished, right? So now I want to change the transparency equal to what? Equal to some numbers. Because remember that before when I talking about transparency, you remember that it's a value, right? So this value is from 0 all the way to 1. So any number between 0 to 1 is a valid number for the transparency. Okay. So now get back to the script. Okay. So sometimes I want to mention that sometimes you saw this red colored underline. You see this here, right? So red colored underline. That means I haven't finished the code yet. Something's wrong. Okay, so Roblox Studio is detecting this mistake. Okay, so that's why it's highlighted by this red color underline. If you finish this code, the underline will be gone. Okay, sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue. Okay. So because we haven't defined the transparency value yet, so that's why it's showing this red color. Okay, so now I want to change it to 0.5. As I mentioned, the value has to be between 0 and 1. So I gave a halfway. So as you can see that once I finish this code, the red color underline is gone. That means, okay, there's no mistake. The code is clear and correct. Okay, now let's take a look at the base plate. So before we start the game, everything is by default, right? So gray color, and it's very solid, it's opaque. Now, if I click play, now you can see that right now, not only the color changed to red, and also the transparency is changed to 0.5. Now you can see it's halfway clear, right? So you can see through the parts and see the floor grade, right? Okay. So this is how you change the properties of the part using the code. Okay, now I stop the game. Okay, as you can see, everything is back to normal, back to the default values. Okay, so but this is kind of boring because once I start the game, the part property is already changed. I don't want that to happen. I want when I touch the part, okay, my avatar touch the part and then trigger the part, change the color and change the transparency, right? That's what I want. Okay, so we need to add a few lines of a code. Okay, so let me add a few empty lines. So make it easier for you to see. Okay, so it doesn't matter because the empty lines, the Roblox Studio doesn't random. It will skip. Um, so there's nothing. So you can type few more times or few less times. It doesn't matter. So, okay, because I already named the part, so I want to see the part, part dot. Okay, the very important function is called touched, touched. Okay, so as you can see, after I type in TOU and Roblox Studio think, oh, you want to use the touched function, um, it's already pop up as a first option. Now I press TABK, as you can see, touched is selected. Okay, so touched is a behavior. As you can imagine when you play the tag game, right? So you touch another kid and then you call it, ah, I got you, right? So what will happen um, after I touch the parts? We need to use a function, okay? So first, after the touched happened, um, you need to add a colon. This colon showing that um, as you can see, this two dot. That's how you input the colon. Colon is uh, the key after L on the keyboard, and you have to hold the Shift key and press the colon button so that is showing the two dots here. Okay. So after the two dot, there are a few options. The first one is the one we want to use, connect. So since the connect is already selected, I can just press the tab key, the tab key on the keyboard, and finish that. As you can see that after I press the tab, connect is finished, and then also the parentheses. This parenthesis means that you have to tell that what will happen after the avatar touch the part if the part is touched. Okay, so there's a lot of things can happen. So we need to give a name for this function. Okay, so we can name anything you want, but the name typically should be meaningful. So we can name this function as what will happen if a part is touched. Okay, so this is a very long name for a function. Okay, so what will happen if part is touched? Okay, so this is a function name. Okay, so to okay, so we need to so once we define a function name, of course, we're going to tell the function what's happening, right? Once the part is touched. Okay, so start from local again. So local function. Okay, now this function name we already named. It's called what will happen if part is touched. Okay, this is a very lengthy name, so I don't want to type it wrong. I want to make sure I typed it right. So what I can do is I'm just copy this file, a function name. So move my mouse cursor to here. So after the last letter, and then I hold the mouse cursor, move all the way to here. Okay, and this name is selected, and I press Control C. Okay, press Control C on my keyboard. Okay, that means I copied this name. Now I move my mouse cursor to here right after the function. Okay, so you have to leave the space, okay, between the function and okay. And then press Control V, V as Victor. Okay, Control V. Now, as you can see that this function name is copied to here. So what will happen if part is touched? Okay, because this is a function, we need to give a parenthesis. Okay, so after I press parenthesis, as you can see that this immediately become the blue color here. Okay, now I haven't finished yet. I move the mouse cursor out of the parenthesis. As you can see that my mouse cursor is flashing here. Okay, now I press enter on my keyboard, enter. Okay, once I press enter, as you can see that another keyword end is showing here. So that means I create a function. I created a function. This function name is called what will happen if part is touched. Now, as you can see that all the red color underline disappeared. That means my coding is correct. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, make sure that your function name, what will happen if part is touched, and here are exactly the same. Okay, I mean exactly same. That means they are case sensitive. Okay, you understand the meaning of case sensitive, right? So means each letter have to match their capital letter or the small letter. For example, here my name is called what will happen if part is touched. Okay, if I change this what w into a small w, as you can see that this is a small case. Now something's wrong. As you can see that the Roblox Studio found that although you have a file name here, but looks they are not exactly the same. So that's why you see this blue underline showing that something's wrong with it. Okay, and you have to double check your name to be exactly the same. Okay, so I found okay, because here is capital W and here is small w. So I need to change to the capital W. Okay, now it's showing Roblox Studio detected, okay, you are looking for this function name. Yes, and you can press tab to confirm. Okay, now as you can see, the blue underline is gone. Okay, and showing that, okay, the file names are consistent. They are exactly the same. Okay, so that's how to make sure everything is the same. Okay, of course, if you think this is a file name is too lengthy, it's too long, you can always change it. Typically, we don't use this a very lengthy name, but here it's just for the demonstration. I used a very long name. Okay, to make it meaningful for you to understand this the function name, and this function is going to change the part's property when the part is touched. Okay, so now we finished the function, but we didn't tell the function what are you going to do. Okay, so we need to move these two lines of the code to the function. Okay, so now I'm going to copy paste. Okay, only these two lines. Okay, only these two lines. Okay, so move to here, mouse cursor to here, and hold it on the mouse cursor and drag all the way to the line 2. Okay, now it's selected, and press Ctrl C. Okay, and then move the mouse cursor to here. Okay, between the local function and end. Okay, anything here. So and press Ctrl V. Now as you can see that these two lines of the codes are copied to here. Okay, now I can delete the original ones. I'm going to select the original ones and press delete. Okay, as I mentioned, the space between the lines are will be escaped. So if you think this is too many empty lines, you can delete, make it more neat. Okay. So now you can see that I put everything into this function. So that means when the part is touched, and once it touched, we'll connect this function. called what will happen if part is touched. Okay, and this part, this local function, all the way to the end, this part is exactly what will happen if this function is triggered, right? So what will happen is the brick color will change, the transparency will change. Okay, so first the part has to be touched, so as a trigger. Once the trigger happened, and we'll call this function called what will happen if part is touched. Okay, now let's go to the base plate. Since this is a coding, so everything is still the same, nothing changed. Okay, oh, because the part is touched, means anything can touch the part. As you can see that originally I put the part on the floor. Okay, the floor can also touch the part, trigger the change. Okay, so to avoid that, I have to lift the part. So there's nothing touch the part. Even the floor is not touching the part. So I'm going to lift. Okay, lift a little bit higher. So as you can see now, it's floating in the air. There's nothing touching. Okay. At the same time, you need to lock the part, otherwise it will fall off from the air. Okay, so I'm going to anchor the part. So go to the part, find the properties, and you will see the anchored. Because I already told you how to anchor, so that's how you anchor the part. Okay, so you should be able to do it. So now I click play. Okay, now as you can see that this part is anchored, right? So it's not touching anything. Now I'm going to touch, so I can, go to directly touch. As you can see, my head touch the part immediately changed the color, and also the transparency changed to 0.5. Okay. So, okay, this is the um, how we can change the property by using a trigger called touched. Okay, so let me okay, so I think yeah, so I talked this part very slow because this is the first time we literally start talking about how the program is running and the logic behind each of the um, line of the code. So okay, and in the future we'll talk about more details. But I think this is the first step. Let's take a um, um, little bit slow, so that you can have a fully understanding of the code. Okay, so I just stop here, and you can keep practicing. And of course, you can copy, you can create more parts, and each part you can change their properties. So for some part, you can change it to red, and some part you can change it to blue. So for example, if I stop here, and you can duplicate this part. So for example, I duplicate by Control D. As you can see that another part is created. As I mentioned before, you have to drag this part out. So I'm going to do this. Now, as you can see that the second part is created. I duplicate it again. The third part is created, right? So I have three parts. Each of them have the script. So the first part, the script is here, is this one, okay? And I'm going to open the script, another script. Okay, so I want to change color to blue. Now, okay, I want to change the parency to 0.2, a little bit more opaque. And I can open the third part script, the third one. I want to change it to what color we have? Red, blue. Okay, now I want to change it to green. Green, Green. Now I want to change back to more transparent, like no, I want to change it to 1 actually. So it will, once I touch it, it will totally disappear. Not disappear, it's still there, but you cannot see it. Okay, so from 0.5, 0.2, and 1. Okay, okay, now this is a 3 pad, right? Okay, let's try it. So play. Okay, as you can see that 3 parts are still there. Now I want to jump to the first part. Oops, forgot jump. Okay, because I already touched. So now when I jump to the second one, da-da, and change to blue, and the transparency is 0.2. Okay, not so transparent. Now I jump to the third one. Oop. Oh, because as you can see that its transparency is 1, so the color doesn't matter anymore. So it's totally disappeared, but it's still there, right? So if I changed to maybe to 0.7, okay, and you should be able to see the color. Do it again. Okay, jump. Yes, change to red. Second one blue. Third one green. Now as you can see that, right? So your touch triggered the code, triggered the properties change. Okay, of course you can create more and more parts, give them different colors and the transparencies. Okay, I think this is the first one. I think this is good enough for today. Thanks. Bye.